Hi guys, so today I want to talk to you a little bit about raw feeding. So I don't like to call raw feeding a trend because it is the way that our dogs were originally intended to eat and the way that their ancestors ate. Now that being said, it has gained a lot of traction online and for good reason. It is a healthy, great option to feed your pets. Huge advocate for raw feeding. All of my pets are actually raw fed. Now, that being said, it is not right for every dog, and unfortunately, if you're on social media, I'm sure that you have probably either been attacked for raw feeding or you've been attacked by someone that believes that raw feeding is the only way to go. And the fact of the matter is, nutrition is very specific to each dog. What works for one pet may not work for another. Just because you feed your pet that way and it works well doesn't mean that it's going to work for somebody else's when it comes to raw feeding your pets. Pets with IBD conditions typically do not do well on raw diets, but they will do well on a gently cooked diet. There is a lot of concern about foodborne pathogens and raw feeding. The FDA does have a zero tolerance policy for foodborne pathogens being in raw pet foods. Now, that being said, obviously, contamination does happen just like it does with our own foods. Most raw pet food companies have what's called a kill step in place, either using HPP processing, which is high pressure pasteurization, lactic acid baths, things like that, to kill and neutralize any potential bacteria that might be on the food. Now, when you go to the grocery store and you're selecting foods and you're making your raw diet at home, there are a couple of things that you need to know. USDA actually allows certain amounts of foodborne pathogens to be on our raw meats that are at the grocery store because the idea is that we are taking it home and cooking it, so this will kill any potential pathogens. That is not happening though if you're taking that food home from the grocery store and you're feeding it to your pet. So these are just things that I like to make people aware of. I think that it's really important to know. And while I am a huge advocate for raw feeding, it does not come without its risks. So it is important, I think, for you all to be educated and to understand what those risks are so you can do as much as possible to keep your pet happy and healthy. The gut of a dog is extremely acidic. It's supposed to have a pH of 1. And the reason why is because since the beginning of time, they have been going out eating whatever nasty stuff they can find outside, so they need this really acidic stomach to break down any potential pathogens that might be on the food. Now, that being said, that is for animals that have a healthy, functioning gut. As a nutrition counselor of 8 years, I can tell you that it is not often that pets are coming to me with healthy, functioning guts. So although it is rare for pets to contract salmonella, listeria, E. coli, things like that, it is not impossible, and I have seen the cases on the rise. So here's just a couple of tips to keep your pets healthy and to neutralize this potential. Meat sourced from a raw pet food company, you can check to see what their kill step is that they have in place. You are then mitigating a lot of risk. Pick the highest quality meats that you can find. So pasture-raised meats. It is a lot less likely for those meats to have pathogenic material on them because they came from healthy animals, eating biologically appropriate diets, living out in the sun, doing all of the things that they're supposed to be doing. Obviously, contamination can still happen, but this does mitigate a lot of your risks. Again, I'm a huge advocate for raw feeding, but I think it's really important that you guys are informed so that you can keep your pets safe.